Hey everyone, Rich Gasaway here. A couple of weeks ago, I announced that I was looking for a department to partner with me to host a situational awareness event on September 26th, National Situational Awareness Day. I said I wanted this to be my biggest event ever, with a bodacious goal of having 500 students in the room. And for hosting, the department that partners with me will get some nice incentives, including allowing all of their members to attend for free. I had 9 agencies step up so far and express interest in hosting. Now, obviously, only one is going to be able to host on National Situational Awareness Day, and I'm not looking forward to the task of determining which agency is going to get that opportunity, but what a great problem to have so much interest in that one day. I'm going to work with every one of those agencies to bring a great situational awareness program for their region, and I'm really excited and looking forward to that. If you're interested in partnering with me to bring a situational awareness program to your region, just go to the SA Matters website and click on the Contact Us link. I'm giving some serious consideration to making this a National Situational Awareness Month celebration in September. I might have to do that just to accommodate all the agencies that have stepped up and expressed some interest. And for those agencies that cannot, for one reason or another, host a live event, for you, I now have an alternative. The Situational Awareness Matters Online Academy. There's almost 700 students enrolled in the academy, and the enrollment is growing nicely. So if you're interested in taking your understanding of situational awareness and high-risk decision-making to a higher level, visit samatters.com, click on the green button on the right side of the homepage that says Online Academy. Hey, for you premium enrolled in students in the Academy, in case you missed it, this past Thursday, we hosted our second webinar event, and our guest was Pete Van Dorp, the retired training chief from the Chicago Fire Department. He's one of the featured speakers in the Foundations course, and among other topics that we discussed, he talked about the balancing of the culture of safety with aggressive tactics, among other things. It was an amazing interview and discussion. Well, even one of the questions that one of the students asked Pete was, does he watch Chicago Fire? And you just have to listen in to hear his response on that. During February, the webinar was hosted with Dave Dotson, the founder of the Art of Reading Smoke program. And he shared some outstanding tips for how to incorporate smoke reading into your size up. And he made the connection between reading smoke and situational awareness. So thanks to both Dave and Pete for sharing your valuable insight with our premium enrolled students. For the premium enrolled students, the webinars are available for playback if you missed them. They're in the course room. Scroll down to the bottom of all the courses. They'll be near the bottom of the list. All right, let's get this episode rolling. Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com.
This is Captain Ricky Mahaffey from the Waynesville Fire Department, and you are listening to SA Matters radio show with Dr. Rich Gasaway. The SA Matters mission is simple. They want to help us see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes.
Hello and welcome to episode 153 of the Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence environments. The SA Matters mission is simple, to help you see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes. I mentioned in a previous episode that we were closing in on the 200,000th download of this podcast show. Well, we did it. Or I guess I should say, you did it. The listeners have downloaded this podcast more than 200,000 times. It's official. The SA Matters radio podcast show is the single longest consecutive running first responder safety focused podcast show on the internet. How cool is that? If you haven't subscribed to the show, go over to iTunes or Stitcher Radio and search for SA Matters Radio. SA Matters Radio. And there'll be a link there to the podcast page on the SA Matters website as well, if you want to just listen to it through the website. If you already subscribed to the show, do me a favor, a personal favor. You'll make my day. Go to iTunes or Stitcher Radio and give the show a review and a rating. It would make me feel really good. And it helps others to find the show. I announced last month that I was looking for an additional sponsor for the show. Now that we've had more than 200,000 downloads, well, I think there might be a company out there somewhere that might want to get their message into the ears of this show's listeners. If that's your company, or if you know of a company that might want to expand their reach, ask them to contact me through the SA Matters website Contact Us link. While I'm on the topic of sponsors, I want to throw a little love out to this show's first and currently only podcast sponsor, Midwest Fire, who, by the way, has been the sponsor of this show from almost the beginning. It must be working for him, right? Thanks, Midwest Fire, for investing in my message and for the absolutely amazing fire apparatus you build to serve and protect my listeners. We're closing in on another incredible milestone, too. In just 3 more episodes, we will be at episode 156, and that will mark the 3-year anniversary of this podcast show. I've released a new episode every Tuesday without fail, and I mean every Tuesday, for 3 consecutive years. I've never missed a week. There ain't no other fire-related first responder podcaster who's even come close. Not even a close second. And I do this for you, the listener. And while I'm proud of that, I give you the credit. If you didn't listen, we'd have no show. It's really that simple. I've been sharing the message of situational awareness and high-risk decision-making for 12 years now. Yep, I'm here for the long run. And for so long as I'm able, I'll continue to share this message. A message of hope. A message of inspiration. And a message of encouragement for you, the nation's first responders, who want to make sure that you're able to develop and maintain strong situational awareness and make quality, high-risk decisions. This show's for you, and dedicated to helping you improve your safety and your survival, and helping you to accomplish goal number 1. Always goal number 1. Go home to the ones who love you. And truthfully, there's nothing I'd rather be doing. And speaking of sharing the message, I'm coming to you today from Monaca, Pennsylvania, where I'm in town to deliver a situational awareness program sponsored by the Public Safety Commission of Beaver County and hosted by the Beaver County Community College. This is the second program presentation that I will have done in Beaver County. Thank you for the faith and confidence in my message and inviting me back. I feel very blessed to have some very exciting programs coming up in the next few months. In April, I'll be presenting at the Fire Department Instructors Conference in Indianapolis. In May, I'll be doing a program for the Incident Management Team members for the Fire Department of the City of New York. Also in May, I'll be doing a program for the Navy. In July, I'll be doing a program at Fire Rescue International in Charlotte. In August, a program for NASA. How cool is that? NASA, right? In October, the SA Matters Tour heads to Europe for programs in the Netherlands and Belgium. I truly am blessed. If you're interested in hosting a Situation Awareness Matters Tour Stop event in 2017 for your department or your association or your region or your state, or even your private company, I do private company programs too, just contact me through the SA Matters website. Contact Us tab. We'll get something set up for you. It's not a hard process, I promise. Oh, and if you want to save some money while you're hosting a program, and who doesn't want to save some money, right? Here's a tip as to how you can host a program at a reduced cost. I schedule many what I call companion programs. These are programs on adjoining days to other programs. So if you see I'm delivering a program within a couple hours of your department, and you might want to tag along as a companion, contact me. You can save as much as 20% off the program cost for being a companion to an existing program. And I do about 30 of those a year, and you know what? No one's ever complained about saving money. That's what I call a true win-win scenario. In today's feature segment, the fourth podcast in this series, we're going to once again be discussing dangerous mindsets. We're going to cover 9 of them in total, and today we're looking at the superior, also known as the boss. We all yearn for good bosses with balanced egos and strong self-esteem, but unfortunately, as we all know, there are some bosses out there who present challenges and whose behaviors can impact our safety. Before we look at how that can happen, let's recap the 9 dangerous mindsets. In Part 1, we discussed the starter, also known as the new member. In Part 2, we discussed the subordinate, also known as the loyal follower. Last week, we discussed the specialist, the expert or know-it-all. And today, we're talking about the superior or the boss. Remaining in the series is next week, we'll do the stubborn, also known as the defiant, followed by the silent, also known as the shy one, then the Superman or Superwoman, also known as the unstoppable, the slacker, also known as the complacent, and the synergist, also known as the like-minded. All right, let's jump into the feature segment on the dangerous mindsets of the superior. Stick around when the feature segment is done, and I'll tell you where you can attend an upcoming Situational Awareness Matters Tour Stop event. Who knows? Maybe I'm going to be right in your state or right in your county. So stick around for that. The superior. In this, the fourth in a series, we're going to discuss the superior, or perhaps more appropriately stated, the superior with issues, and how that can impact situational awareness and team safety. It would be rare for a superior with a balanced ego and a healthy self-esteem to possess the dangerous mindset. Rather, it is often the boss who lets their authority get the best of their judgment, or the boss who suffers from a feeling of inadequacy, like inferiority, that results in a dangerous mindset. There is a great deal of stress that comes with being in charge of responders at an emergency scene and being responsible for their safety. Stressful situations, unfortunately, do not create character. Rather, they reveal character, and as it relates to this podcast, the true character of some company officers and some incident commanders. A leader whose ego and self-esteem are in check, meaning in balance, will not falter under stress. Their demeanor remains consistent and predictable, professional and personable. They understand that they are fallible and welcome feedback about their decisions, especially when they may be making strategic or tactical errors based on flawed situational awareness. In my travels and presentations on situational awareness, I see leaders with healthy egos, and I see leaders with unhealthy egos. The strong, principled leaders say things like, "If I am screwing up, I want someone to tell me, right here and right now. I know I can miss things, and I want the members of my team to know I value their input and their willingness to help me ensure the safety of all members." This leader demonstrates an appreciation for the value of team-based decision-making and shared situational awareness. Leaders like this also understand and respect their own vulnerabilities. Conversely, the weak leader might say something like, "Emergency scenes run under a paramilitary hierarchy. There is no place for debate and discussion about my decisions and orders. It's my job to give the orders and the subordinates' jobs to follow the orders. And if they don't like the order, that's too bad." This leader demonstrates no appreciation for how team members can contribute to improved decision-making and the importance of shared situational awareness. This leader lacks the understanding and the respect for his or her own vulnerabilities. The badge tapper. Recently, while conducting a leadership class, I got introduced to the term badge tapper. In the context of our leadership discussion, this student said that when he goes into the superior's office for an explanation for why a decision was made, the officer takes his right index finger and while tapping his uniform badge says, "This is why you have to do it." Such an ego-driven response does little to ensure the subordinate of an understanding of the leader's decision-making process, and is likely to leave the subordinate feeling his or her input is not valued. The badge tapper is suffering from gold poisoning and allowing ego to eat his or her brain. Not only is this demoralizing to the subordinate, but it can be downright dangerous. The superiority complex. A person with a superiority complex is ironically a person who feels inferior and makes up for their feelings of inadequacy by acting superior toward others. On an emergency scene, this may be manifested by feeling and acting as though subordinates are inferior to their knowledge, their skills, and their abilities. The superior that makes an overt statement affirming his or her superiority can compound this problem. Sadly, such statements are often said in the presence of others, affirming to the inferior-minded leader of his or her sense of superiority. The superior will be closed-minded to the input of others and will refuse to allow a subordinate to even suggest the superior's decision or the superior's situational awareness may be flawed. This can have dangerous consequences for first responder safety. Placing blame. The superior, plagued by an overinflated ego and a low self-esteem, rarely accepts responsibility for their flawed decisions and poor situational awareness. Rather, they're far more likely to find a subordinate to blame. Occasionally, there may even be a boss to blame. But never are the mistakes the fault of the superior leader. This can make for a miserable existence among followers who know that even if things are going to hell in a handbasket, the superior leader is not going to welcome feedback or suggestions. A superior looks for blame like there is going to be a reward when it is found. Shared situational awareness. There are 3 types of situational awareness a responder needs to be concerned about. First is personal situational awareness. This is the situational awareness you have about yourself, your abilities, your limitations, your fears, phobias, stamina, your task, and your surroundings. Second is team situational awareness. This is situational awareness you have about your fellow team members, their abilities and limitations, fears, phobias, fitness, and stamina, your team's task, and your team's surroundings. Finally, you have the incident situational awareness, which is your situational awareness about the big picture incident, the abilities and limitations of the incident scene's resources overall, the strategic objectives of the incident, and the role you and your team play in accomplishing those objectives. Situational awareness is therefore not just something developed and maintained only at the individual level. Rather, it is also developed and maintained at the company level and at the command level as well. But it does not end there. For situational awareness to be strong, it must be shared, or perhaps more appropriately stated, commonly understood among all the responders. When the situational awareness of one team does not align with that of another team, problems may be on the horizon. Even more consequential is when individual team members do not share the same situational awareness with other members of the same team, or multiple team situational awareness may not align with that of the commanders. In my programs, I use a simplified analogy that mental models are similar to little movies playing in your head that allow you to understand what is happening, and perhaps even more importantly, what will happen at some point in the future. 2 teams, or a team and a commander, who do not have shared mental models are in effect watching different movies. Consequently, expectations about the outcomes are likely to be very different. The superior, also the person suffering from the inferior or superiority complex, is not likely to share his or her situational awareness with others. And if others share their situational awareness with the superior and it does not align, the superior may become defensive and may even launch a verbal attack on the subordinate. It won't take too many assaults of this nature before the subordinate learns to keep quiet. On an incident scene, this may result in taking additional personal risks, exposing other personnel to additional risks, or subjecting the superior officer to the consequence of a flawed decision as a result of flawed situational awareness that no one would dare tell him or her about. The best practices of leadership can be difficult to apply to individuals with specialized challenges like inferiority or superiority complexes. The behavior of such an individual does not fit standard expectations. For example, it would be a standard expectation that a commander or company officer would want to do everything in his or her power to keep members safe, even if it meant admitting having flawed situational awareness and asking for help to fix the problem. But for the superior, it's more about keeping his or herself safe. Safe from what? Safe from ridicule and safe from embarrassment. The fear of the consequences of being seen as wrong are greater than the fear of the consequences of making a decision that results in a casualty. You can see why this is a really dangerous mindset. The resolution of how to work through this will not happen on the incident scene or during a training session. There is too much risk for the superior in that environment. Rather, the best place to begin making headway on this problem is during a casual discussion about the best way to let someone know when they're doing something wrong. You could start with a very simple and obvious scenario. Here's an example of a scenario. You're riding along in a car and someone is about to run out of gas, but they do not realize it. What are the possible ways to bring this to the attention of the driver that will ensure a good outcome without hurting the driver's feelings and without causing conflict or embarrassment? Hopefully, this would be an easy one to talk through. Then move on to a more progressively challenging scenario. For example, you observe someone who's about to drive a vehicle when you think they've had too much to drink. What are the possible ways to address this problem without hurting their feelings, creating conflict, or causing embarrassment? I should note that I acknowledge that this one can be tougher because the person under the influence of alcohol may not have behavior that is predictable or coherent. Hopefully this discussion is calm, professional, and productive, and some best practices and principles start to emerge about the best ways to address these issues. Eventually, work your way toward the discussion of an emergency scene scenario where you, not the superior, are about to make a bad decision based on flawed situational awareness. Let the superior offer some advice about how this should be handled in a way that would avoid hurting your feelings, creating conflict, or causing embarrassment. Strive to stay true to the best practices and principles you have established in your previous discussions. Finally, broach the topic by offering a scenario where the superior is the one whose situational awareness is flawed, and as a result, the lives of responders may be in jeopardy. Allow the superior to offer advice about how he or she would want to be addressed. Stay true to the best practices and principles. The rules do not change because the problem is now with the superior. If you've experienced or witnessed a near miss and would like to have a platform to share your lessons learned with others, please contact me by visiting the SAMatters.com website and clicking on the Contact Us tab at the top of the homepage. Think about this for a moment. The lessons learned from your near miss event could save the life of other first responders. That's really powerful. If you want to share your experience, contact me. Okay, as I always do, I want to take a moment to thank the departments and organizations that have hosted some recent situational awareness training events. I do this to show my appreciation to those organizations that put forth the effort to organize, advertise, and fund great training experiences for their members and for members in other departments in their region. Your effort to bring this valuable and powerful training on situational awareness and high-risk decision-making to your members is greatly appreciated. Recent tour stops included Mountain Iron, Minnesota, Lutsen, Minnesota, Towson, Maryland for the Maryland Fire Rescue Institute National Fire Service Staff and Command Program, my 17th consecutive year presenting at that program. Thank you, MIFRE, for the faith and confidence in my mission. Beaver County, Pennsylvania, Cranberry, Pennsylvania, and by the time this episode airs, I will have completed a program in Blue Springs, Missouri for the International Association of Fire Chiefs. If you want to join me at upcoming tour stop event, March 30-31, I'll be in Lancaster, Texas, April 1 and 2 in Richland, Washington, April 7 in Medford, Oregon, April 15th in New Richmond, Wisconsin, April 20th in Penticton, British Columbia, April 22 in Creston, British Columbia, April 24th in Michigan City, Indiana, April 25th, Indianapolis, Indiana, May 2 for the Incident Management Team of the Fire Department of the City of New York, May 3 in Orangeburg, New York, May 4 in Mamaroneck, New York, May 6th and 7th in Toronto, Canada for the Ontario Fire Chiefs and Ontario Fire Training Officers, May 16 to 25 back in Portsmouth, New Hampshire at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard to do situational awareness training and consulting there. If you're anywhere in New England and you want to be a companion, May 16 to 25 would be a great opportunity for evening programs within a few hours of Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. May 31 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. While delivering programs in southwest Minnesota earlier this year, I had the opportunity to stop by and visit my awesome, amazing sponsor, Midwest Fire. They make all poly-bodied fire apparatus that's changing the industry. You seriously need to check them out at MidwestFire.com. Anyhow, I got a chance to sit down and talk to a few of their employees about what separates Midwest Fire from their competitors. Here I got a chance to ask account executive Dalton Lingbeck about their all-poly design of the Midwest Fire trucks. Let's listen in. Okay, Dalton, I see in the advertisements that one of the things that differentiates Midwest Fire from their competitors is this all-poly design. So what does that mean, all poly? Describe that for me.
Yeah, well, poly is actually pretty common in the industry. Poly tanks are seen inside bodies all over. Manufacturers do them all the time. They've started around the 80s, I believe. But all poly means that our tank and body is all poly integrated. It's one big superstructure. You're not sliding a tank inside of a body. You're not sliding a tank anywhere. It's actually one big built body that we do, and it's made of 3/4-inch copolymer. It's extremely durable, and it's industrial grade, and it's the kind of poly you can beat the crap out of.
Okay, well, I'm a little bit of a skeptic there because you say that poly is durable, and I own a lot of things that are plastic. In fact, I was just at home last week, and we had this appliance that had plastic parts on it, and I accidentally dropped it on the floor, and it didn't shatter, but it just cracked so easy, and I only dropped it, a couple of feet. So I'm a skeptic. When you say poly is durable, I think of poly or plastic as something that isn't durable, that's going to crack easy or dent easy. So you got to convince me on this one.
Well, yeah, trucks and shoes definitely come up with poly. But let me grab down here something really quick. As you can probably see on the screen right now, this is a piece of poly that we use. It is the same type of material, the same thickness. It's 3/4-inch. And what you might notice on here is it has bullet holes. So basically, if you trust a bulletproof vest to take bullet holes, when they first tested it, they wanted to shoot holes through it and see if it worked. And you couldn't shoot holes through it. So what do? We did the same exact thing. We wanted to shoot holes in the theory that poly wasn't durable and poly wasn't reliable. And we tried to shoot holes through it, but you can see right here, the bullets actually could not go through. And there's actually a bullet stuck in the bottom of this one because it won't get all the way through. Now, truth be told, there was one weapon that did go through this piece of poly, and it was a 30-06 high-caliber rifle. It did go through, but that's a 30-06 high-caliber rifle.
So it was a 45 caliber on the other side?
Yep.
And so what I'm looking at is essentially there's marks on the poly where the bullets hit, but as you show me the backside, it didn't go all the way through.
No, yeah, and the backside doesn't even have any dents on the backside.
Huh.
Actually, when we were doing this test video, one of the bullets, I think it was on the 380, actually bounced off back towards the person that shot the piece of poly. So no, the bullets did not go through. They actually either stuck in there or they bounced off.
Okay.
That's how strong this stuff actually is.
All right, so there you have it, right from the horse's mouth, shooting holes, literally, in the concept that poly is not a durable product on which to build a fire truck. So if you're interested in learning more, check them out at MidwestFire.com. Thank you to Midwest Fire President Sarah Atchison and all your staff for your awesome commitment to improving first responder safety. I sincerely appreciate your support of my mission. If you're not a member of the SA Matters community of learners yet, consider joining. There are over 5,000 members connected here on SA Matters, sharing ideas about how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, how to train members to be critical thinkers and resilient problem solvers. Membership is free, and when you sign up, you'll get a special report that I've created for the new members called 25 Best Practices for Improving First Responder Safety. Joining also gets you my monthly email newsletter that contains featured content from the blog and the podcast. It really is the best way for us to stay in touch with each other. If you're not a member yet, head over to the SA Matters website, click on the red box on the right side of the homepage that says Free Membership. If you want to get connected with me on Twitter, you can follow @RichGasaway on Twitter. On LinkedIn, you can search for Rich Gasaway. On YouTube, you can watch my videos on the SA Matters TV channel on YouTube. And on Facebook, you can like the SA Matters page on Facebook. Well, that's it. Episode 153 is complete. Thank you to our awesome podcast sponsor, Midwest Fire. Thank you to all of our live event hosts. Thank you to our almost 700 online academy students. And thank you to our listeners for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit samatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.